Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs. Welcome to the Gundam Explained show. It is April 13th and not Friday, which
Yeah.
would have been cool. I probably would have marathon like Friday the 13th or something.
Oh,
But
that would have been great.
that's not even on topic. But no, Stephen, good to have you here. Yesterday was a lot of fun. For those that might have missed it, we talked about what is a Gundam, and it was a pretty neat conversation. And we even asked Chat GPT what they thought.
Yeah.
So
That was a lot of fun. That was an awesome little conversation we had. We kind of strayed off into the weeds too, which is always good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if anyone hasn't checked that out, please check it out because Steven's always providing good content. But yeah, no. Other than that, again, with this show, the podcast version will go up Friday. So yeah, if you guys prefer the audio version or you can't catch it live, there's always that. Also, if you're ever interested, if you want to support the channel, there's some perks and there's going to be some new ones coming out. I've decided I'm going to take a page out of the book of Star Wars Explained, and I want to start doing it where I film myself watching a show, but I do kind of live commentary, just a discussion, almost like hanging out, talking, so that might be a cool thing. Because
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think that's kind of like a lot of people do that sort of like celebrity DVD commentary where it's
Yeah.
like
yeah, I love that stuff. I love, like, my favorite commentaries are anytime Bruce Campbell is doing a commentary on Army of Darkness or Evil Dead. But if you go to Patreon right now, for everybody, it's free for everybody. I actually have a video of when I went to Weebcon, which we're going to talk about here in a second. So check that out if you want to. I just figured there's a way to get people to go to Patreon to see if you're interested in supporting, because, so far the support has, for both of us, the community around here has supported us, really motivated us to keep going with this stuff, and it's so much fun. So
yeah, we have some awesome friends in this space that they're really supporting what we do and encouraging us to push it further. So, and without sounding too cryptic, we definitely have some ideas brewing.
Oh, definitely.
About
There's
how to provide more perks and more value for the people that choose to support us.
And that's like an ongoing thing. We're always brainstorming. Like, how can we make it where it's good value, but, there's that feedback of support. But, speaking of that, you had an awesome video, speaking of like commentaries and supporting, that went out last Friday. That was your breakdown of the first episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, but a different type of analysis than I would typically do. I like to look at the lore and talk about, but you kind of break down a lot of different things when it comes to like storytelling, animation, just other things in general. Now, I think because there were some clips in it, Bandai blocked it, but you can get it at Rumble. There's a link in the description. But you'll have another episode coming up that you're going to have it in a format so it doesn't get blocked, but everyone will be looking out for that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that'll go live tomorrow, so hopefully you guys are into it. It's basically the kind of college courses you would do where you're talking about literature and analysis in that regard, but we're just applying it to Gundam, which for me is a lot of fun. I hope you guys are getting some good content out of it.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So, jumping into chat real quick, good to see Nike. Man, you were here early. Rogue New Type, good to see you. Zombie Painter, Neo X, Travis Wadlow, glad you were able to make it. Ultronymous, Tony Reyes, good to see you. So cool show we got today, because I want to start with talking about Weebcon 2023. Weebcon.
I've never heard of Weebcon, but the name alone has sold me.
It sounds like a thing that needs to exist, and it should exist, but something that generally, even a couple years ago, I would never even bother going to. I'd be like, Weebcon? What? But getting into Gundam has opened me up to anime and like culture, and I'm loving it. And so the only reason it was funny because it was, I think, on this past weekend is when Weebcon was, Easter weekend, and I think we were all chatting in the supporter chat in the Gundam Explained Discord. We were just chatting, talking about meeting up at cons or whatever. And then I was like, yeah, what are some cons near me? So I searched, and it was like Weebcon right now. And guess what? Brad Swaley, the voice actor of Amuro Ray, is there. And I'm like, Ah. So I wonder if this will be my first outing in Gundam for a con, because I used to go all the time for video game stuff, like mid 2000s into the early 2010s with my Blue Gamer, because even though Blue Gamer was never big, I think at that time online stuff was still small enough where I guess I had enough of an impact where I would get invited to all that press stuff. I went to cons
so cool.
all the time, QuakeCon every year, but I got tired of them because
Same here.
It would be like they would show off video games that I would just see online anyway, and so I just kind of stopped going. What's interesting about going to Weebcon was how much it was more of a cultural experience instead of just like, oh, here's the newest video games, even though there's culture to that. But it's like more of the stuff that I'm not too familiar with, the Japanese side of things. So
I hit Anime NYC like basically every year from like 2007 until like 2013 is when I think I stopped going up there. But and it's always fun, but I think that some of those bigger conventions, they've kind of lost their focus a little bit, like Comic-Con and especially San Diego and New York. They're definitely more just like generic entertainment conventions as opposed to like committed to the topic at hand. I think that a convention like Weebcon is definitely a little bit more focused around the anime community. And
yeah, that's a good way to put it, because one thing I noticed is nearly 90% of the people there were in cosplay. It was awesome. Like, I'd see cosplay at conventions sometimes, but this was like, there was tons of cosplay. And, it was weird because there was multi floors to this, and there was even raves, dance party, at night. Like, they had parties that would be going on. Like, honestly, if I knew about this ahead of time, I probably would have planned to check it all out. One thing that was a little weird to me, but it's because of my prudish American upbringing, was there was a lot of 18 plus stuff posted everywhere. Now, it wasn't like explicit, like nudity, but it was scantily clad, but like, I don't mind that at all, but I almost brought the youngest with me, and that might have not been too, he might have just looked away. I don't know. It's one of those things
you
where
never
it's not
know
really...
how kids are going to react
Yeah.
when they see that kind of stuff. Like, are they going to get bashful and be like, oh no?
Yeah. Well, already when I watch shows with the youngest, and if there's kissing, he turns away. Or when he sees me and his mom kiss, he's like, ew, how kids are. But no, it was cool. So my video is just a short glimpse at what it was, but I pretty much walked around the whole thing. It was large, and along the entirety outer wall of it were the booths for the voice actors, even some on the inner. So it almost seemed like, in a way, the voice acting was the bigger deal, I guess, in that floor I was on, because it was just in the middle. It was all like the merchandise retailers.
Well, out of curiosity, I'm fairly certain that voice acting is, particularly anime voice acting, is pretty big in your neck of the woods. Like, I want to say that you're right around the corner from like Funimation.
Exactly. Yeah, they're in, I think, Funimation and Crunchyroll, and they have, like, I know they used to have, it might have been North Richland Hills or Hearst near me. They had an office, and then there's one in Dallas. In fact, it's either the Miorine or Soletta voice actress is in Dallas.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, which is pretty neat. I actually reached out. I reached out actually to a whole bunch of people recently to try to, I'm just throwing the net out there, see who's interested in coming on for an interview. So we'll see if that pans out. But that's a good point. So that could lend to why there was so many voice actors. So yeah, even I think the Soletta voice actor was there, and I didn't know that until later. Like, when I got home and I was just looking at hashtags to see, what else was there. But they even had the voice actor for Miles in the Spider-Man PS4 game, which is pretty cool. And you know what? There's just tons I just don't recognize. I would recognize some of the anime characters, but I bet there's just so many cool things that I don't watch right now. Like the Spy Family, I know is a popular thing. I'm sure there was a voice act. Or I don't even know if they do it in English. Do they? Spy Family? I
don't know.
But I bet those top anime shows are there. Anyway, so once I found Brad, there was already a couple people in line, and it was interesting. He kind of had his own section instead of like a table parked next to another table. Even though he didn't have the biggest line, I think more the newer, but at the same time, so his table, he had someone working with him, could have been his wife or assistant or whatever, and on the table were the photos that you could, as part of your purchase to get an autograph that you could get signed. Nothing was Gundam. And I was like, But I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's all the newer stuff like Death Note that's more popular that people are there for. So what I did was I brought the Blu-ray of the first disc, because it's like it's two discs. Yeah. The little sleeve, I took it out. He drew a Haro on it and signed it, and we talked. It could have been 15 to 20 minutes. It seemed like a while. It was so much where the line behind me was getting bigger, and it was cool because I told him, hey, I just got into Gundam. This, it's great. I love how it's like a more mature Star Wars, and he's like, yeah, exactly. And we were vibing on the same page of how cool it is. He was even telling me he would buy collectibles, but he got to a point where he has no more room. So
yeah, I was going to say his room's starting to look like ours, and
and so it was really cool to hear that even he buys the collectibles but doesn't have enough room. And then we were just having a discussion about Star Wars, the relationship of Star Wars and Gundam, also in anime, and like what I've discovered on anime, how they really, character development seems to be more of a focal point in anime than Western stuff, and even how they do it, where sometimes there's the mundane, the slice of life things that happen a lot, but it lends to the character development. And then he went on to be like, wow, I'm surprised you haven't seen Death Note. You should see it. It does all that stuff. So
well, it's probably refreshing for him to see a Gundam fan. I imagine that of all the people in his line, 98% of them were Death Note, and then like maybe a couple of other series thrown in here and there. But I don't imagine that there was a lot of guys with like a Katra shirt from Gundam Wing, because it's the same actor, right?
You're right. And that's what I found interesting. I thought for Wing, at least, there would be like this huge line of people for Wing. But it almost makes it seem like, all that love for Wing or Gundam, like in a way, it's more of the people online that are older that are talking about it, that might not necessarily go to a convention. And then I guess with the younger crowd, maybe even if they think Gundam is cool or Gundam Wing is cool, they're probably still more into the up-to-date animes that are coming out. I don't know. But I just was surprised that, and even walking around, there was only one area that had Gundam kits. And I was actually surprised about that. But they had, it's like, on one hand, I want it because it's cool, but on the other hand, I don't care. But it's that Lacus Klein pink mobile suit that she's on when she sings or something. It's like a Zaku warrior or something. It's like, it's cool, but do I really care? But it's cool. It's one of those things. Okay, so then after the signing and everything, I wanted to go look around. Originally, I was going to go see this panel on the history of Gundam that was being moderated, or it was being conducted by, and I don't remember him, it's an artist from Japan that came, and he was just doing a little thing, and I was like, I've seen Tamino talk about it, so I think I'm good. But I then found another floor that was, it was interesting. It was all booths set up everywhere with backdrops, all different types of backdrops, and it was for people in their cosplay to come to them and have pictures taken.
Oh, nice!
I thought that was pretty neat. Yeah,
I've not seen anything like that.
Yeah,
but then I was never really dialed into the cosplay side of it. So.
I think it's neat. Like sometimes, like, wow, what if I got a costume or something? But I wouldn't even know. Like if it was a Star Wars convention, sure. Like recently I made a Luke costume, but
There you go.
For an anime convention, I wouldn't know what the one thing I would do is put on a muscle layer outside thing, make my hair all spiky, and be the guy from Fist of the North Star or something. Oh wait, he didn't have spiky hair. His was down. Or JoJo. That would be fun to cosplay those characters.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun, especially if you could do the hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the thing here. People had crazy hair. Or obviously, they used gel and stuff to like make it look like anime. But at the same time, the cosplay is like a hobby in itself, and so a lot of it is the people taking their time, understanding the materials, how to do that. That's probably out of my, I mean, I probably could if I wanted to, but.
I mean, I have a Glemmy Toto uniform that's been sitting in my eBay cart for about 2.5 years. But
why is it
but I'm
not
planning on going to any cons soon, so it's like, well, but maybe if we do plan a convention meetup or something, well, I will arrive blonde and wearing a Glemmy Toto.
Would you shave?
Oh yeah, I'd have to. Right?
Oh, sweet. That would be cool. And well, speaking of, well, to end the Weebcon stuff, let me finish that, and I'll get on to the next point. There was also an area upstairs, further up too, that was really like adults only, where it was like a sectioned off room that had a whole bunch of like 18 plus. It had giant banners with like half naked anime girls on it. Interesting, not complaining, but like I wasn't prepared. I wish I knew about this ahead of time. And I was looking it up in like here in Texas, and I guess there's another anime style con coming up in September. So I'll probably, and actually what I did was I actually registered to get a table. Awesome. Doing that, I would like do a live stream from there or something, and I don't know what else I would do at a table, but they offer it, so I was like, yeah.
Bring plenty of merch with you, slaps and shirts and stuff like that.
That's a good idea. So yeah, and that got me thinking. Like after meeting Brad, and then I was like, you know what? Hey, if I wanted to be able to reach out to you to maybe coordinate an interview coming on, the show, what would I do? And he handed me a card. So, and it's for this. I think it's called Celeb Work. So it's just kind of like a general. Here's all the talent
company.
Yeah. So I reached out, haven't heard anything yet, but then that like got me excited, and so I reached out to, a few other people, so hopefully I hear something soon, because it seems exciting. As content that is missing from my channel is to have an interview with people that are part of the process of.
And I would even argue not just missing from your channel, but missing in general. I mean, Kakarot 197 doesn't have Brad Swaley, interviews, right. And so it'd be. I think that it'd be fascinating. It's like I'm a little jealous that you didn't get the conversation between the two of you about Star Wars on tape.
I know, because if I had it recorded. I know, that would have been cool. But yeah, so then that made me think, okay, what would be next? And so it was Brennan Elliott, the dude from G Savior. I'm always harassing him. I'm not really harassing him, but I tweet every once in a while. But you had mentioned Christmas Con. And I'm like, okay, I've heard of that. Let me look it up. And
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, so sure enough,
they've got conventions for everything. Like,
and I guess the Christmas Con is because the Hallmark movies, they like sign actors to be in their movies, and a lot of them are around Christmas also, so they just call it Christmas Con. Yeah. So it's in Kansas City, Missouri, which I've actually never been to. It's only an 8-hour drive. Because I was thinking I'll just buy a plane ticket and go, but then like the family wants to go too, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. And we've driven to Florida, and that's like 16 to 18 hours. So I'm thinking Kansas City, not 8 hours, not bad. So he's gonna be there. It costs $65 to get in for a single day, and then it was about the same price as Brad Swaley. So if I wanted to get a selfie. Not a professional photo, but a selfie and an autograph, it's about $60 to $70. So it's like, this is like an investment. It's like, that's a lot of money, but it's, and I figure my plan is I go, and really I might just go to the convention. If like the family doesn't see anything interesting, I'm probably just going to go straight to him, get his autograph, and head out. And then
We got to
like
print you like a G Savior T-shirt.
that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm going to try to design a G Savior T-shirt to print before I go.
Which
and,
you are going to stick out like a sore thumb among all of these like middle-aged women that are excited about
exactly,
Hallmark channels.
exactly. And so since my family's coming with me, I'm gonna ask my wife to record. Like, I don't know, what if they'd be like, no, put your camera down. You can't have your cameras out. So I might get one of those like hidden cameras, or I don't know, or wire a mic on me so as I'm talking to them. But no, and then so really the goal is, one, it would just be cool to get his autograph, even though it's not like this guy has had an impact on my life or anything. But I feel like just showing up representing G Savior might just have a little sparkle for him for his day. I don't know. I feel like that would be cool.
Something he doesn't hear about, but maybe like once every 3 years, someone brings up G Savior to him. Of course, since you found him on Twitter, now it's like once a month.
I know. And there's the occasion that he will like a tweet, like especially if someone does fan art of his character. I will retweet it and tag him because he usually appreciates that. So, and then the other thing I'm going to try to do, because I've already contacted his company twice and never heard back, I will bring up, hey, any chance I could get an interview with you on my show? If I can get it from his mouth, the no, then I'm like, okay, I'll stop. But I also want to bring up, hey, just like Mark Hamill or the Ghostbusters, we can bring back your character in Gundam, make it relevant and exciting again. I don't think it got its fair shake. I've watched the movie. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I think it's how it looks.
It's very much a product of its time.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like a TV movie. It because of the budget, they can't have that much action, unfortunately. But the story is legit. The acting is legit. And the context of it being in the Gundam universe is what makes it awesome, even though it is late UC, and I know you have a problem with late UC.
Yeah, it's fanfic, but it's fanfic that I can respect.
Okay. Okay, I like that. So anyway, I'll try to eloquently bring up to him, like, hey, let's have a resurgence. And you're the first and only real live action Gundam interpretation. I mean, there is that CD-ROM or that PC game that came out in the 90s, but I think it's like telling them, look, you could ride these curtails and continue to like show up in Gundam stuff too. I mean, and part of it too is like you might
even land him an extra role in the Netflix Gundam movie.
yeah. And so that's what's interesting. Bandai doesn't seem to really do stuff about G Savior ever often. Like I play the game on PS2. I have the DVD, which I will bring for him to sign, by the way. But like they don't ever really re-release stuff or maybe they're embarrassed, but if you can get enough people to rally and make noise, that could be a fun thing to dive back into. So
yeah, I mean, like maybe we can be like the group that harassed DC Comics. Like we can be like, release the Savior verse, like the Savior cut. Save the Savior cut.
No, that's actually pretty good. Because I think that's what it's going to take. And I do think there's something to that, him being kind of the first and only live action Gundam pilot. I'll ask him, are you a new type? No, but no, that'll be cool. And it would be cool if anyone can join me. So
yeah, my wife has already expressed interest in attending Hallmark Con. So I mean, we might end up getting the 3-day pass.
If that happens, let's plan for it, and we'll plan to do a podcast from if not there, a hotel or something. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, let me see if I can wrap up anything else for my Weebcon. The only other thing I forgot to add was Weebcon was literally the next city over from me. Less than 20 minutes to drive there. So
which says something about Texas, because everywhere in Texas is like at least a 45-minute drive. Like
Well,
if you
and
think about
that's
all the landmarks.
right. And that's why I live where I live and I've never moved. Because I live right in the center of everything in North Texas. So it's so easy for me to get somewhere. And yeah, the place they had the con is usually where they have QuakeCon. But anyway, yeah, and I see, and another thing I don't know is if with Weebcon, is it in a bunch of cities every year, or is it just down? I don't know. I'm gonna have to do more research on that. But I think more cons will be in my future until then I get tired of it. But let's see. So yeah, to move on, we're gonna also in a little bit talk about the Seed versus Destiny thing, but I'm going to switch over to something. Give me a second. Okay, so unfortunately, it's flashing again. Oh, and it's kind of not now. Oh, it kind of is. Kind of not. Okay.
At least it's not like rapid fire.
I know. And that's funny because for those that watch the show often, there's like this, I want to say there's like this plot line underneath of every episode where I have issues with this software that I'm using to stream. And
it's like,
just as an update.
This show might be Monster of the Week, but there is like an ongoing thread of the big bad evil guy is the streaming software.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're trying to get over it. Well, so what's interesting is there was an update to download, but I'm grandfathered into this old plan. And so on the website, they say, hey, if you download an update, you may then have to re-up. And I was like, oh, I won't download the update. But the guy said, no, you can download the update. And I did.
Very nice.
And so far, so good. But I can go back to him and be like, hey, dude, flickering. But what I wanted to bring up real quick, the GP00 is showing up in Battle Operation 2. I mean,
awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. And at first I was like, wow, that's a surprise. But I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't this like either a kit or a Robot Spirits recently up for pre-order? And I'm starting to see, go to Premium Bandai, one of those mobile suits is going to be in GBO2 next week. So
yeah, that's how it works. Well, and I'm surprised because this kind of seems out of left field considering that we've been kind of on a Thunderbolt kick recently.
Yeah, exactly. Even like in the subreddit and stuff, people were assuming the next suit would be Thunderbolt or something. Anyway, looks cool. I wanted to get the Gunpla / Robot Spirit. I think it was a Robot Spirits. I forget of it. But looks cool. I like the colors. It's just classic GPO look. I mean, what's even funny is in the game they have that Aqua version of the GPO1. I don't have it, but it's cool that they do all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that was kind of like the design philosophy behind the GPO1 is like it's a modular, we can outfit it for any situation. So it was like the land type, and then you see the full burner version in
That's right, because that's an upgrade from the GPO1, right? The full burn-in. Yeah.
So
that's
cool. I mean,
that
stands to reason that there would be an Aqua version, even if we don't see it in the anime.
I like that. I like how the Gundam universe always considers water as a battlefield. I don't. At first, it was surprising, but then over time, I'm like, that makes sense. And I'm going to talk about something else, but I'm going to switch just so I don't give myself a seizure. But so I'm sorry, maybe 20 episodes into Afterwar Gundam X.
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
and I got to say that is a good show. Now that I'm further into it, it's a very down-to-earth, seriously played, good contained story where it's not trying to be crazy. Even if there are new type dolphins, it's still I like the imagery. And another thing too is the way they do the new type stuff. I don't know if I enjoy it because I already have context of the new type stuff in UC, because it's like they're not explaining things in a way, but there are specific traits that are consistent. That's like, oh, that's an interesting take on the new type. Like how they will talk to each other from long distances normally, which I thought was interesting. There's also the fact that being able to interact with a dolphin that I feel, lends to kind of the biological science of what we understand from dolphins, where there's a lot more to their
Yeah.
brain functions than we understand, especially
Right. Thanks for
echolocation.
all the fish and all that.
Yep. There you go. And I also like, and again, I'm not too far into it, so I don't know where it's going, but I like that light that comes from the moon. Like the look of that. It reminds me of like recent imagery from like, I think it was Dark Souls 3, where it showed that like, I think the blacked out sun and it had like the line going down from it. I don't know. I just really cool imagery. The characters are cool. I think it was like episode 14 or 15 were slice of life. Like the guys go back to town and you kind of seeing what they're involved with. Like, and I forget their names. I'm really bad at that stuff. But the guy with the water mobile suit went to go hang out with his family and you learn more about him. The guy with the flying one went to meet all his different girlfriends. And it's really cool how they give these people these backgrounds.
Yeah, you don't get that from a lot of Gundam series. I mean, that's
Yeah.
always been one of my big complaints about some series where it's like we're going to introduce you to a character and then we're going to kill him in 5 minutes for pathos or something.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think you're right. So seeing that slice of life thing, I'm appreciating it more than I would before. And I think it's good because at first they had the characters go through an arc. Like, they seemed like they were bad guys, but they're good guys for hire. And then they're just hanging out, and they're sometimes a little weird in their little it's a white base on wheels. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a hover white base. I don't know. But then you see them kind of live in their world, and then it's like, okay, I care more about those characters. So yeah,
it's very cool. And I think you and I kind of had an exchange on Twitter where it was like, it's just inoffensive. Like, I think that's why Gundam X gets overlooked so much. Is it's like,
it doesn't stand out for anything in particular that it does wild or crazy or makes people mad. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And so that's the thing. Like in this, I think the past few episodes have really been water based. And even though they do that in Gundam, it's just really cool to see that again, especially when they're fighting underwater. Like how like the beam saber doesn't work underwater, and so he puts it up to their cockpits and then ignites it. Like I love that he's trying to figure out how to use the technology.
That's a very cool environmental touch that you don't get from you don't get from a lot of other Gundams. Like, typically you just see people flinging beam sabers underwater and it's not a big deal.
The first time something like that popped up for me was Unicorn. I think the time when the Sinanju was going up against the Earth Federation fleet, I think, the bad one, and then maybe that was where they dispersed Minovsky particles so he couldn't use beam weaponry, so he had to like go in close or something.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess that's more based on the Minovsky, but I love it when stuff like that happens where the characters then have to kind of adapt to the situation. And it doesn't necessarily happen too much. Yeah.
No.
But it is
you
kind
get
of
like
cool.
Maybe one or two kind of tentpole moments per series.
Yeah.
Anyway, MS Team's a good series for that.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to finishing afterward. And then I was like, then I'm almost done with Gundam. I only have Turn A, Age, IBO, Reconquista. Okay, I'm not close to done.
Yeah. 44 years of content is a lot to pack into 4 years of, because you've been on YouTube for 4 years now, right?
No, it might just be 2 years in June. It was 2021.
2021.
Yeah. I mean, it was 4 years that I've been into Gundam, but it wasn't until later. I was like, you know what? Let me just start a YouTube channel to learn more about it. So anyway, that was that. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next video game news. Flickr massacre, but season 4 of Evolution Ballista. I will say playing as the Dynamis was probably the most fun I had playing Evolution. I liked how I could be long range, but also be short range, and there's a lot of boosting mechanics that go with switching the weapons, which not many characters have that ability. And then on top of that, you can heal players. So like I love, like in GBO2, I like to I always have the high assist scores in GBO2 or diversion scores because I'm always like assessing the battlefield and like moving around, and the Dynamis really lends to that.
There you go. Nice.
I think there's going to be a lot of people playing Friday. There's gonna be a lot of people from Bandai playing together, and I might stream that. And then in the Discord, the Gundam Explained Discord, I brought it up to people that play there a lot to see. I'm gonna try with Bandai to coordinate. Hey, could we get some matches? With depending on how many people show up, I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh, and I think also with the season 4 release, it's now in like way more territories. So it's almost like this is like a bigger release for the game. So
yeah, they seem to be throwing a lot more support at it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it is pretty cool because, like, again, I feel like this game isn't for me, but it is a fun game. Like, it is fun, I gotta say. It's just GBO2, man. That's just my game.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, moving on. Again, everyone, sorry for the flicker. That definitely, I can get back to the guy. Hey, I downloaded the patch or the update, but there's a flicker. And I'll link to this, and I'll be like, "Hey, man, I'm talking about you." No. Well, so this is interesting because there's going to be some new pre-orders going up. Are they out? No. Okay, it's like tonight or something, right?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, probably around 9 p.m. is usually, or 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Yeah, and look, that Neo Zeon we complained about, all of a sudden this $300 suit went up and it sold out. They put it up again. So I'm telling you, Bandai is listening. They're seeing what people want, and they're because I think
they did the same thing with the Spartan, right?
Yeah.
They did 2 releases of the Spartan.
And because of that, I was able to get it that second pre-order. So just looking around here, they even have the Gundam Rose again. If anyone missed out on that, the
Zaku High Mobility Rose funnels.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. They have that Zaku High Mobility surface type that I think is sweet. That I might pick up.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I thought that they were coming out with all 5 of the Southern Cross Zakus, but maybe they're just doing them one at a time.
Yeah, that's right. Because I remember originally they did announce it like that, and now it's just this. Yeah, this one. That's interesting. And the Slegger's GM. So if you guys didn't pick that up, the one thing I'm really interested in, because I'm into robot spirits, is this gunner type Zaku. It's just decked out. Like, it just has, like, look at all this weaponry on it. It has this giant cannon on its back.
Dare I say they're trying to make it look like a scope dog from Votoms?
Oh, yeah. That's that's a good point. Yeah, it is looking like that. So, yeah, this is pretty. And so in this image here, they have these other mobile suits that I haven't seen released yet. Like, this guy has that Gatling gun that's kind of like the shield, like the Goof has, the custom. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a Zaku 2 F2 type, but with a Goof shield for some reason.
Yeah, so I wonder if they're taking these from Stardust Memory then, the Zaku design, and then instead of using the 0079 for anime, they're just using the Stardust Memory F, which I think is the F2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But then there's this Gelgoog back here.
And I want to say these are from that 0083 manga. I always forget the name.
Oh, yeah, Rebellion,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That explains it then. Thank you. That, oh, yeah, because it even has information down here. Invade Von Braun City. Was that in Rebellion? I don't know. I actually haven't followed it.
Yeah. So, which is kind of, it's kind of funny that they call it a ver anime if it was only in a manga. Maybe it should be like a ver manga.
So that's then why I think they are getting the ver anime Stardust Memory ones that they already made.
Yeah.
And then making a ver anime, ver manga. That's what they should call it.
Ver anime manga. I don't know.
There you go. They should do that with the dots, and then they make up what the acronym is. No. That is cool. It's just, man, 90's always steep, especially when I'm not like building anything.
Yeah.
But again, they're high quality. It's really hard. I haven't even pre-ordered that add-on pack for the wound work, so I still have a lot of work to do.
They always come with so many accessories anyway.
Yeah. I know. All right, so we're gonna move on. So this, I'm appalled. I don't even know where to go with this. So I said, which seed do you enjoy more? 149 votes, 77% go for seed. And I'm shocked. I watched both back to back, and to me, Destiny is obviously superior.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I will say, though, that I think overall the music in Seed was better, but the beginning of the second season had some of the coolest music, but then it didn't continue with that for the rest. Like there was that main music when Shin would go into his core fighter, Splendor, whatever, and it would play this badass music. They stopped like around episode 15 or 16, and then it. But let's look
at. They still used the same like stock animation that because I mean both Seed and Seed Destiny are guilty of like reusing animation cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's on one hand sometimes it's annoying, but sometimes coupled with the music, it's like I'm just enjoying a music video that I've seen multiple times.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
So Jermaine Garrett says, I do like both. I just like to watch the first Gundam Seed show. Hope another story will be just as awesome. And that could be part of it. How much context do I now have based on Destiny that then I would enjoy Seed more? I might want to. Sure. Okay. And play Kite with right hand. Okay. Honestly, I like both, but if I had to choose, it would be Seed, even though Destiny was the first title that introduced me to the Gundam franchise. Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like watching Empire Strikes Back without watching A New Hope.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Whereas I would think if you watched Empire Strikes Back first and then you went to A New Hope, you might think, wow, Empire was better. Unless you just really like the dog fights, because A New Hope does more dog fights.
True.
Raider 8676, you forgot to include Stargazer, my dude. Actually, I did not, since that is a movie on its own, and I haven't watched it. But when I do, it's just
full-length series only. We're not.
Yeah, because both of them are time commitments. 48 episodes. I had to really manage my time to make sure I got through them quickly without avoiding my family for so long.
Now, what might have been actually a good third option would be throwing in the Seed HD remaster, because that might split the vote.
That's interesting because I only watched the HD remaster. I have not seen the original, and that would be interesting if there's even a big difference there. Have you watched both?
No, I think I only watched the original.
Ah, okay.
Because I didn't know that there was an HD remaster. Like you, I found out, later on. So but I wasn't about to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like sometimes it's like these hey, that was a discussion we were having with Resident Evil 4. It's like some of these remasters. It's like, is it really worth it? Is it for me? Maybe it's not for me, but that's okay. It's one of those things. BACD, I like both of them. Good answer. Actually, let me give everyone the little thumbs in the heart. 0XEXE. 4 votes, close the poll. I think that was when it had Seed at the 4. And
that's funny.
WebFox 100, Seed has 100% with 2 votes. Oh, close the poll. Another one. Man. So not only do people prefer Seed, but they're adamant about it.
Which is fascinating to me, that for as much as people complain about Kira, why would you then think that Seed is superior to Seed Destiny? But
really, Seed over Destiny? Neither. I'm more of a UC guy. Good answer, Tony.
Yeah.
Andreas, Destiny was a rushed sequel that tried to replicate Zeddy and Seed's plot progression, but also ruined its own story in the process. I don't know.
Fair.
I think it did a good job of because there was peace at the end of the first one. It's but that's not possible. And I'm glad in the Seed. Wait, what were you saying?
Well, I was like, are you new to the Gundam universe? Peace? That's not a.
And what is interesting, because remember in 00, The first season and second season kind of did that same thing too, but there was still that background of the coordinator thing going on. So then, but once you get to the movie, the threat then was aliens. So what Seed did was once you get to Destiny, that chairman guy is like, look, the military industrial complex still exists and we need to get rid of it. In my opinion, that was like the perfect way to have a sequel, because it's like, yeah, maybe there's peace right now, but hey, the underlying process that creates war is still here, and we actually need to. So when the chairman's doing these things, people don't agree, but he's trying to do something right.
Yeah,
just going the bad way about it.
But something about the road to perdition and good intentions, all that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The mechanic, he's been on the channel before. He doesn't like either of them. That's actually pretty cool, I think, if you don't vote, but you actually say you don't like either, because that's interesting to find out too. Because if Destiny didn't exist, I would just ignore Seed altogether. But Destiny, and actually, let me grab, because I even picked up.
Hey, there you go.
It just looks like a badass grunt suit, like.
Yeah. It's like that is what I would have imagined like a mass production Zeta should have looked like.
Yeah, where you're thinking that it does more of the booster approach to the backpack. Yeah, instead of having to be, well, it can't transform, so now it's just going to be
right. Transforming's too expensive, so we're gonna strip it back, and which I guess is technically what the Rigazy is, right? So like,
yeah, that's right, because it can, and you know what? Though that does bring up a point which I like about Destiny, and they don't, and it might have been in Seed too, and they don't really talk about it much, but when they're doing land battles or atmosphere battles, they always have boosters on.
Yeah.
Like the different, unless it's like a Gundam, like a, one of the, so it's cool that they kind of keep that consistency. But yeah, I gotta say, so many Rogue New type UC4 life, hell yeah. I don't have a tattoo. Yeah. I never plan to get one, but if I do, it would be UC4 life. There you go. No,
there we go. Yeah, same here. I do have tattoos, and maybe I'll
just add on,
fill them in.
So here's my thing. I am seeing so many people like Seed. I'm probably gonna, I don't know when, but I'm gonna try to watch it again to see if I can maybe pick up on some subtlety or nuance, which I doubt is there, but I don't know.
Well, maybe try to watch not the HD remaster.
Oh, okay.
See if that colors your perception.
Okay.
I'm not going to commit to do that.
Which you shouldn't. Who would?
No, honestly, if we get enough channel subscribers, I will do a dissecting Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny. Well, that we'll say.
Dude, that would be great, actually. Coming from you, that would be really cool to hear.
They're going to be very short episodes. Because like you said, there's not a lot there to really work with. But
because sometimes, things just happen just to happen. And so it's like, well, there's not really anything I can discuss with this.
Yeah. The characters are more like instruments that just kind of move the plot forward, as opposed to,
they're being really, which is what I liked about Destiny, how they were having these plots that with these characters that don't necessarily make them good or bad. It's like, I mean, really the main bad guy was the dude from Earth that then escaped to the moon or whatever, and then he had that sweet laser that like was able to go through those rings or whatever. Like that was pretty cool.
It was a little neat.
But so that's why I'm gonna have to explore this more, and I'm gonna try not to trash talk Seed as much, since I see that a lot of people like it. Is it I that is wrong? That whole Simpsons thing, like the kids. I don't know, it's the kids,
it's the children,
or something like that. Well, cool. Well, you know what? I think that's really it for the topics we were going to cover today. Anything else that's cool to mention, to bring up?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Well, then cool. So if you guys want the audio version, that will be released on Friday, as well as the new Dissecting Gundam with the first episode of Zeta.
Yep. Yep.
right?
So
Yeah,
like I said, we're going through Zeta and Gundam at the same time. So
cool. Yeah, that's cool because it kind of makes it like some breathing room of the different storylines, pretty much. You know?
yeah, yeah.
And do you plan to do like Wing?
We'll see how far we go with it. If people are really liking it, then I'll
Like, is there?
maybe we'll go down the line of UC shows
Okay,
until we get to like Wing and Seed and.
I'm just wondering if there's something you can't wait to get to.
Well, that's why I had to start Zeta right away.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay, yeah. Start off strong. They can kind of give you the ideas going forward. So
yeah, that way if I burn
cool.
out, then I'm gonna burn out early.
Oh, yeah, and then you'll at least have that done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before I leave, real quick, I see some other people just joined. IT Commander, Penele, Barry, BB. Good to see you all. Classic Quarter gameplays. Hi, how are yous? I'm watching Zeta now on my DVD collection. Oh, good man. Probably one of the coolest people then at this moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone in the Discord posted a picture of them wearing a Xeon shirt at the gym, and it's like you probably are the coolest person at the gym. Like if you think about it. Like
yeah.
So anyway, guys, yeah, thanks for watching. I could go on forever saying bye, but bye. Adios.